This is not a drill. What just happened in Washington, D.C. has shattered the line between political theater and outright treason. Melania Trump, our first lady, has just been dragged into what one GOP senator is now calling a scandal bigger than Watergate. And the person who's leading the attack, none other than radical firebrand Jasmine Crockett, who, by the way, went completely off the rails in a live congressional hearing, hurling disgusting, unfounded accusations against Melania Trump, while the mainstream media just stood by and didn't say anything. But here's a twist, folks. What Jasmine Crockett said wasn't just a smear. It was a distraction, because the real story, the leak, the intel leak that just dropped inside of a closed door committee session that has the GOP exploding in fury and could take down the entire deep state's apparatus left behind by Biden's handlers. So guys, we're talking about secret surveillance, buried memos, and a weaponized DOJ that went after Melania Trump during the 2020 transition, all of it swept under the rug up until now. And President Trump, he's not just responding. He is launching a full-scale investigation that could rewrite history. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through the exact moment that Jasmine Crockett crossed the line and brought Melania Trump into this war. Of course, the classified leak now being called treasonous by top officials, how the Trump administration is strategically flipping the script and exposing the Obama-Biden surveillance blueprint. And of course, the graceful but devastating response from Melania Trump that left even her critics stunned silent. So guys, we have a lot to talk about. Patriots, this is not just about defending the First Lady. It's also about exposing a political hit job, decades in the making. So let's jump in. Oh, and by the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. So folks, it's always starting with a leak, right? But this wasn't a leaker blowing the whistle on corruption. This was a political bomb dropped straight into the bloodstream of American trust. Just a couple days ago, a classified intelligence memo, one that was supposed to remain sealed within a secure SCIF on Capitol Hill, all of a sudden surfaces online. Not through official DOJ protocol, not through the new ethics standards that President Trump has rolled out. No. This was handed off backroom style to a friendly journalist from a legacy media news network, okay? And within hours, it was being parroted across MSNBC like it was gospel. Now, here's what makes the scandal really explode here, guys. The memo directly links unauthorized foreign surveillance activities carried out during the final stretch of the Biden administration to communications involving Melania Trump. Now, I want you to hear this again, okay? Melania Trump, the First Lady, targeted, monitored, dragged into a surveillance dragnet that never even should have existed. So what exactly were they looking for? What kind of intel did they think that they were going to get from a First Lady known for her grace, her silence, and her strength? The memo doesn't give full details. It's riddled with all sorts of low confidence assessments, language the intelligence community loves to hide behind. And here's what it does say, though. Certain communications between Melania Trump and foreign individuals during the 2020 to 2021 presidential transition were captured. They were flagged, and they were circulated internally across multiple federal agencies with no warrant, no oversight, and no justification beyond politics. Now, this isn't just about national security anymore. This is about abuse of power at the highest levels. And the outrage, it was instant. GOP Senator Frank Tatum, a decorated Marine turned lawmaker, he held up the leaked memo to the Senate floor and he declared, "This is worse than Watergate. This wasn't one party spying on another's campaign. This was the intelligence apparatus of the United States targeting the family of a duly elected president. If this is true, we're looking at the most treasonous scandal in modern American history." Now, that moment, that quote, guys, this ignited Washington like a match to kerosene. All right, so we've seen clips. Dana Perino, she's from the Five. She said that she had never seen a leak this dangerous. Greg Gutfeld, he called it an act of political war. And of course, Judge Jeannie, she held nothing back. I mean, just demanding immediate criminal referrals for everyone who was involved in the entire intel chain of custody. And yet again, CNN did not mention it. MSNBC buried it. The New York Times, they ran a full piece. It's really a fluff piece about Melania Trump's shoes the same day. But it really didn't stop the truth from spreading. America saw the leak. America saw the panic. And America saw exactly who they went after. They went after Melania Trump. And now the question that everybody's asking right now is why? Why her? Why now? Like, what were they trying to find, or more importantly, what were they trying to silence? And this is exactly when Jasmine Crockett stepped in, not to get the truth, but to launch a personal attack that was just so vicious, so off the rails that even Democrat staffers were left stunned. Flying Circus 86 just got stuck in 2 different scammy insurance policies that gave kickbacks to sales reps. This sounds horrible, doesn't it? Well, it was a nightmare right up until she heard about Chapter. Quote, and this is pulled directly from a previous video. They said, I made the call fast. I wasn't about to get stuck into being screwed again for a year. Chapter fixed everything. God bless them for what they do for seniors. Wow. I really appreciate you leaving me this comment and for letting me know how well things worked out for you with Chapter. Francis Lutero wrote, we're saving $65 a month now. Chapter was a big help. Look, you're not stuck. You're not powerless. One phone call could be your breakthrough. Give our friends at Chapter a call. Phone number is 909-563-8279. Or better yet, hit them up on their web at askchapter.org/Ron. Tell them Ron sent you and ask how much you could save. It is totally free. So when the dust from the leak hadn't even settled, when Americans were still just trying to process the gravity of this whole Watergate level surveillance abuse, what did Representative Jasmine Crockett do? Well, I'll tell you what she didn't do. She didn't call for justice. She didn't demand transparency. She didn't even ask who leaked the classified intel. Instead, she attacked Melania Trump live on the record, guys, during a congressional hearing. So let me walk you through exactly how this happened, because the mainstream media, they're doing everything that they can to try to bury this story, okay? So the hearing was scheduled as a routine oversight session on DOJ reforms under the new Trump administration. So the topic was supposed to be about transparency, internal audits, whistleblower protections, all the things that the American people actually want. But just minutes into her hearing, Jasmine Crockett, she went rogue. She blindsided the room by launching into a tirade about Melania Trump's so-called foreign entanglements, even though Melania Trump was never mentioned in the hearing's agenda, not in the witness list or even in the supporting documents. So with zero provocation, Jasmine Crockett blurted out, "It's time we stop pretending Melania Trump was just a pretty face in the White House." Wow. Jasmine Crockett sure sounds like a hater, doesn't she? So she goes on to say that there are serious questions about foreign gifts, unreported assets, and influence channels that passed right through her office. Excuse me? Let's just go ahead and pause right here, guys. What office? The East Wing? You mean the ceremonial role of a first lady? The one that every president's wife in modern history has held with dignity up until now, apparently? But Jasmine Crockett wasn't done. She doubled down. She had more to say. She said, "We saw her in Saudi Arabia. We saw the gifts, the handbags, the diamonds, the optics. Don't tell me that there wasn't money changing hands, especially with what this leak just revealed." So that line right there, guys, with what this leak just revealed, it really just proves everything, if you ask me. This wasn't just Jasmine Crockett running her mouth. This was a coordinated deflection tactic meant to redirect the public's anger away from the leak and toward the one woman that they thought that they couldn't fight back, right? And so here's what they didn't count on. The American people saw right through this instantly. The hearing room was stunned into silence. Even the Democrats looked uncomfortable. I mean, you could see it on their faces. Some of them were just completely embarrassed. And then came the fallout. Congressman Byron Donalds, he didn't wait. He interrupted Jasmine Crockett mid-rant, calling her comments irrelevant, insulting, and beneath the dignity of the committee. Chairman Jeff Duncan, He slammed his gavel, cut her mic, and ordered her statements stricken from the record. And Representative Anna Paulina, she didn't mince words either. She said this. She said, "I have never seen a female lawmaker so obsessed with tearing down another woman, especially one who served with dignity. This was a smear campaign dressed as a question." Hey, guys. And they were right, because what Jasmine Crockett did that day wasn't just oversight, okay? It was character assassination, right? I mean, it was an attempt to take a graceful, reserved first lady and drag her name into a swamp of deep state distraction. And it failed spectacularly. But let's go even deeper, because this wasn't just about Melania Trump. This was actually about sending a warning, a message to anyone, even family members who stands close to Trump. You're not safe. We'll drag you into the dirt, and we'll do it under oath. Wow. Guys, but here's the difference this time. They're not in control anymore. This is Trump's America now. And what happens next? Well, let's just say they picked the wrong first lady to mess with and the wrong GOP to underestimate. So within minutes of Jasmine Crockett's meltdown, the GOP's response wasn't just loud, it was devastating. I mean, you could feel the shift in the air. The gloves were off. This wasn't politics as usual anymore. This was a defense of the First Lady of the United States and a direct shot across the bow of the Democrat smear machine. So let's start with Senator Frank Tatum, okay? The same patriot who had just called the leaked memo worse than Watergate, okay? So Tatum held an emergency press conference on the Capitol steps and didn't pull a single punch. He said, dragging Melania Trump into this based on nothing but political spite is a new low. Jasmine Crockett owes the First Lady and this nation an apology immediately, end quote. Now, I gotta ask you guys, does Jasmine Crockett owe Melania Trump an apology? Let me know, guys. And then came Senator Josh Hawley, who framed it perfectly. This isn't oversight. This is obsession. The same people who turned a blind eye to Hunter Biden's laptop are now inventing fake scandals about a first lady who's done nothing but serve this country with poise and class. And of course, over in the House, boom, Congressman Byron Donalds, he filed a formal motion to censure Representative Jasmine Crockett for defamatory, irrelevant, malicious conduct unbecoming of a member of Congress. That's right, guys, a full censure resolution. And it didn't stop there. House Majority Leader Elise Stefanik took to X, formerly Twitter, and said, Melania Trump is not a target. She's not a prop. She's a private citizen and a first lady. And if Democrats think smearing her will save them from this leak, they're even more corrupt than what we thought. Wow. That's pretty powerful, right? But the real game changer here, Trump's chief of staff, Ben Carson, stepped into the briefing room at the White House, delivered what might very well be the most powerful, the most presidential counterattack that we've seen in years. He didn't just defend Melania Trump. He reframed the entire situation. He said, this administration has nothing to hide. We welcome oversight, but what we won't tolerate ever is political intimidation dressed up as justice. The First Lady is off limits to these cheap games, and any Democrat trying to distract from this leak better lawyer up, because the investigations are just beginning. Boom, right? You felt that, right? So that was the sound of the Trump administration seizing control of the narrative and flipping the entire scandal right back on the people who started it. So this wasn't just reactive. This was clearly strategic. The message was clear. You smear Melania, we expose your entire playbook. And the American people, well, we're backing the Trumps louder than ever, aren't we? Hashtag justice for Melania, hashtag Crockett meltdown, hashtag bigger than Watergate. All of these were trending within hours. Millions of impressions, viral clips, independent media running circles around CNN. The people are wide awake. And for the first time in a very long time, they're watching the GOP fight back with teeth. Now, in the middle of all of this chaos, when Washington, D.C. turned into a circus and the media vultures started circling around, there was one person that they underestimated more than anyone. Not a senator, not a cabinet official, not even President Trump. It was Melania Trump, okay? They thought that Melania would stay silent. They thought that they could just throw mud without consequence. They thought she would run, hide, or be just too polished to punch back. But what they got was a masterclass in controlled devastation. So on the evening of June 25th, with the entire country watching, Melania Trump broke her silence. There was no press conference. There was no social media storm. Just a single page statement released by the office of the First Lady. It wasn't loud, but it landed like a sledgehammer. So I want to go ahead and read it to you guys because every word matters here, okay? So it says, the American people deserve leaders who pursue truth, not spectacle. I have never profited from public office, nor have I sought influence outside my role as First Lady. These baseless attacks reflect more on those who launch them than those who endure them. I trust the public to see through the lies. My focus remains on dignity, service, and supporting my husband's leadership for this great nation. End quote. Wow. All right. So let me break this down. And normally we don't even hear from Melania Trump. Normally we don't hear from the First Lady. I want to break this down though. Truth, not spectacle. Now, this was a direct hit on Jasmine Crockett's theatrical, unhinged rant, was it not? Then she said, never profited from public office. Now, unlike some families we know, Melania Trump put her name on the record. No sketchy foreign deals, no laptop scandals, no anonymous art buyers. You know what I'm saying? Just class. The other thing is, she said, I trust the public to see through the lies. Now, that's the real dagger because she doesn't need the media's approval. She trusts you, the American people, to see exactly what's going on. And the final line says, my focus remains on dignity, service, and supporting my husband's leadership. It wasn't just a response. It was a declaration of strength. Melania Trump reminded America what it looks like when somebody rises above the noise and stands in quiet, unshakable truth. And the reaction, it was instant. You had conservative media calling it a slap of elegance across the face of political slander. Megyn Kelly, she said Melania didn't just defend herself. She reminded America what first ladies used to be. Wow. That almost sounds like a direct chop to Jill's throat. Even Elon Musk reposted it, writing, grace, precision, respect. Wow. Haven't heard much from Elon Musk lately. But anyway, now we need to contrast all of this with Jasmine Crockett and what she posted hours later. A video of herself smiling, waving, and sarcastically captioning it, Melania who? Wow. This Jasmine Crockett lady is a real work of art, isn't she? So that one tweet destroyed whatever defense she had left because America saw the difference. One woman stooped to slander. The other one stood tall in silence until it was time to speak. And the timing, it was perfect because Melania didn't just speak for herself. She spoke for her husband, who took the gloves off. You see, when the media was chasing clickbait about handbags and gifts, President Trump was already mobilizing. He wasn't just angry. He was already working on something way bigger. And that's what comes next. So when they came after Melania Trump, President Trump didn't just hit back. He did what he always does. He took control. And this time, he's not just fighting to clear his wife's name. He's rippling the curtain. Guys, he is yanking the curtain down on the entire system that has allowed this disgraceful surveillance scandal to happen in the first place. So in the morning of June 26, President Trump addressed the nation briefly from the Rose Garden. No teleprompter, no political theater, just a mission statement and a warning. He said, the American people deserve answers, not rumors, not leaks, but facts. That's why I've authorized a full federal inquiry into every surveillance order, data intercept, and internal memo signed under the Biden administration during the 2020-21 transition. If my wife was targeted, if my team was spied on, or if a single American was monitored without cause, someone will be held accountable, period. Boom. And to lead that effort, he didn't appoint some bureaucratic insider or some DC lapdog. He tapped Attorney General Pam Bondi. And folks, if you don't know Pam Bondi, you need to know she just doesn't play. All right. She's already assembled a joint task force made up of forensic analysts, DOJ watchdogs, and former Inspector General staffers. who refused to stay silent during the Obama-Biden years. Pam's message was clear. She said, "This is not about politics. This is about justice. If there was an abuse of federal power to target the incoming first lady or members of the transition team, those responsible will face prosecution. Treason, conspiracy, unlawful surveillance, all of it is on the table." Think about it, guys. Let that sink in. Treason, conspiracy, unlawful surveillance, and yes, possible criminal indictments. So we're talking about a coordinated system of abuse that may have involved unauthorized FISA applications, cross-agency unmasking of names, including Melania Trump, international cooperation between the United States intel and foreign surveillance partners during a presidential transition. Does this sound familiar? Because it should. Guys, it's the same playbook that they ran in 2016 with Crossfire Hurricane, but this time, President Trump's in the Oval Office, Pam Bondi's at Justice, and the American people are not in the dark anymore. And so, but here's the kicker. Multiple GOP senators, including Frank Tatum and Josh Hawley, have confirmed that new whistleblowers have come forward ever since the leak went public. These insiders are claiming that Melania Trump intercepts were just the tip of the iceberg. One senior official allegedly told investigators that a parallel shadow team inside the NSA was responsible for flagging the compiling transition-related data without proper authorization and outside the standard chain of command. Now, that's not oversight. That is espionage on American soil against, mind you, a sitting president-elect and his wife. And so here's the beauty of it. This wasn't just a counterattack. It's a blueprint burn. President Trump, he's not just defending his legacy. He is dismantling the deep state piece by piece with evidence, with prosecutors, with public accountability. So to those who thought dragging Melania Trump into this mess was going to hurt Trump, you just gave him the moral high ground. And you also gave him the green light to go ahead and clean house. Now, with everything that's unfolded, the leak memo, the attack on Melania, the censure push in Congress. Oh, and let's not forget about Trump's full-blown investigation into the deep state's illegal surveillance network. You would think that mainstream media would be wall-to-wall with coverage, right? Wrong. Because instead of reporting the facts, CNN and MSNBC did what they always do when the truth threatens their narrative. They look the other way. CNN spent 4 hours talking about President Trump's posture during his Rose Garden speech. MSNBC brought on a panel of experts, forgot the air quotes, experts, to question whether or not Melania Trump's tone was too composed to be believable. The New York Times ran a piece titled, "Why the First Lady's Response Raises Even More Questions." Give me a break, guys. These people are not journalists. They're narrative managers. And when the narrative doesn't serve them, they bury it. So, but here's what they did not expect. They don't control the flow of information anymore, guys. We do. Because while the legacy media is out here playing stupid, playing dumb, the American people got loud. Clips of Crockett's meltdown, 12 million views in 36 hours just on Rumble alone. Melania Trump's letter shared across every major social media platform, translated into 8 different languages, quoted by celebrities, even read aloud by veterans groups in Texas and Florida. President Trump's speech about the surveillance investigation, over 30 million impressions on X within 24 hours. And it was Elon Musk himself who reposted it with the caption, "Every citizen deserves protection from government abuse. Doesn't matter who you voted for." And the hashtags, hashtag justice for Melania, hashtag bigger than Watergate, hashtag Crockett meltdown, hashtag Pam Bondi knows, hashtag deep state exposed. All of that's trending, all organic, not one boosted by CNN, not one featured by The View, because they can't spin what everybody else saw with their own eyes. And the best part, independent media like this channel here that you're watching, guys, we're winning, okay? Because we're not beholden to some freaking donors like a lot of these news stations. We're not pushing some scripted talking points. We're giving Americans the truth in real time. And this is why the legacy media is melting down. Just last night, a producer from NBC was caught on a hot mic saying that we've lost control of the story. No one's watching us anymore. They're watching these citizens, these citizen guys on YouTube. That's what they're admitting, guys. They got caught on a hot mic. Yes, they are. Okay, because the people don't trust corporate media anymore. They trust each other. Okay, they trust the truth that lives in video clips, in verified documents, in the facts that you can't erase. And what we're seeing right now, this is a movement, guys. This is huge. People are fed up with the gaslighting. They're done being lied to. And also, for the first time in a very long time, we're watching justice inch its way forward. Okay, so what we're witnessing right now, it's not just a scandal. It's not just a leak or a smear or another media spin cycle. What just happened to Melania Trump is a turning point, a moment when the curtain finally got pulled back and the American people saw exactly how far the swamp was willing to go. They weaponized the intelligence community. They monitored a first lady. They tried to humiliate her in front of the world. And when that didn't work, they stayed silent, hoping the story would just die. But it didn't, because we didn't let it die. You didn't let it die. The Trump administration is not backing down. Melania Trump is standing stronger than ever. The GOP is finally fighting like they mean it. And the deep state, well, they're the ones that are squirming right now. Oh, and make no mistake, this is just the beginning. Now, I've already received word from Capitol Hill insiders. Subpoenas are being drafted. 2 former NSA officials are currently under internal review. And yes, there's talk that this investigation could lead to criminal indictments tied to unlawful surveillance of U.S. citizens during a presidential transaction. So think about that, guys. They tried to destroy President Trump by going after his wife. And all they did was basically hand him the moral high ground and the public mandate to clean house like never before. So what happens next? Well, I think that depends on you. If you stand for the truth, stay with us. If you stand with Melania Trump, share this video. And if you believe the swamp's time is up, hit subscribe and get ready, because the next 72 hours, they're going to be historic. This is more than political drama, guys. This is a reckoning, decades in the making, from Watergate to Crossfire Hurricane and now Melania Gate. It ends here, guys. It ends now, and it ends with the truth. So God bless Melania Trump. God bless President Trump. God bless the United States of America. Make sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.